What's up, guys? Today we're going to do a video on everyday luxuries that I cannot live without. And by that I mean, of course, I can live without them. They are luxuries and they're everything except for handbags that we're talking about. So let's get started. Okay, so this one is going to be a little bit TMI, so I apologize, but it's real life and it is everyday luxury. And I'm talking about a bidet. If you don't have a bidet, you are missing out. This is definitely a luxury for sure, and it is something that I cannot live without. As a matter of fact, when I go on vacation and I'm without it, I feel a little bit barbaric. And I know that's so dramatic of a word, but in 2023, there are ways to be clean after you use the bathroom. And, you know, the newer bidets are really a toilet seat that you plug in. And be aware there are so many bidets that are on the market that are not good. So you have to, if you're going to get one, then you have to do some research and you have to get a really good one, because I have tried ones that are just not good. They don't clean you, they don't have, it's just not powerful, or it's not specific. I really hate getting into graphic detail, but just invest in it, okay? Trust me, invest in it. The one I have is from Toto. If I can find the make and model of it, I will link it below so you know. But this is what I swear by. If you want to be clean and you want to feel fresh every day, then I highly recommend a bidet. And it's even so useful when you have your period, and just to give yourself a nice cleanse is really good. I will say I have a friend who is a masseuse, and I always have like lots of questions around, you know, kinds of wanting to hear stories about stuff. And one of the questions is, what is the grossest thing that you normally encounter? And she said that it's not uncommon to smell dirty butts, and that's so gross. So I don't want to go into more detail than that, but you can understand what that might mean. They're just not clean and you can smell it. And you know what? Listen, I'm going to say one last thing about this, which is the example that I tell people, like my friends, is that if you have like mud or something that like you smear on your hands and you just took some tissue and you just wiped it away, okay, maybe visually it's not there, but it's still there. The dirt is still there. And if the dirt had some sort of smell to it and you put and you smelt it, it would smell. It's just, I'm telling you, a bidet. It is an absolute luxury, and I 100% recommend it. There are some parts of this world where it's very common, like I think in Japan it's very common, and some other countries around the world it's very uncommon. It's so bizarre to me that it's not more common to have this. And to be honest, we got one in the beginning of the pandemic of 2020, when like toilet paper was a hot commodity and you couldn't get your hands on one. We were like, you know what? We've always thought about getting a bidet. Let's just get one. And we did, and never looked back. So highly recommend. Okay, the second thing that is an everyday luxury that is something that has changed my life dramatically is going to physiotherapy. And I know for me, I've always had neck and shoulder issues from my very early 20s, even my late teen years. I had a lot of neck and shoulder issues, and it was something that just never went away, and I've just learned to live with for decades. And I've never been able to address it because of work. If it wasn't work, then I had kids, and when there's just lack of time, and that was really difficult. And then finding the right place. Like I've gone to chiropractors, I've gone to kinesiologists, I've seen other physical therapists. Nothing worked for me until I found the right one, and I discovered dry needling. So dry needling is basically something where you, it's like I think they use like an acupuncture needle, and they stimulate deep into your tissue of your muscle, and it really like pulsates and it really contracts and then it releases. So there's this such great relief that after living with so much pain for decades, discovering a really good physiotherapist who's really good at dry needling was something that was absolutely life-changing. And I don't live in pain anymore. Right now, I probably go quarterly every year just for maintenance. So for me, I carry a lot of stress on my neck and shoulders. That's where I carry all of my stress. And so it does still get tight, but I do not live in the same type of pain that I used to live in on a daily basis as I did for the last 20 something years. So I would highly advise that you make some time to find the right physiotherapist and get whatever treatment you might need, and making that a priority. So that was a huge one for me. The third thing that has been life-changing and an everyday absolute luxury is, I've mentioned this in my other video, which was the everyday luxuries that I don't spend money on, which was a gym membership. And instead, what I invested in about 10 years ago was a Pilates Reformer. So I have a reformer at home. Pilates is my workout of choice. It's something that makes me feel extraordinary after every workout and is so good for you, especially if you have neck and shoulder issues. So working out on a reformer has paid for itself. Like, it's basically for free now. Like, if you do Pilates, they're usually in semi-private or private. And if you do it in that format, it's extremely expensive. They're like $50 a class, which is crazy. So if you're going 3 times a week, that's $150. And I know they have packages and whatever, but it's really, it's not that much less than that per class. And it really adds up. So it's very, very expensive. So having a Pilates Reformer at home has been truly life-changing. And obviously, is a great workout. So that is something that is, yes, a very expensive upfront cost, but it is well worth the cost if you are committed to Pilates and you do it, on a regular basis. So it will definitely pay for itself like it has for me. The fourth everyday luxury that really has changed my life is Audible. No, it's not sponsored. I wish it was. If I ever got to a point where I got sponsorships, Audible is definitely up there with apps that I really believe in, that has truly been life-changing. But I really love the idea of using your time efficiently. And so for me, whether I'm taking a walk and working out, driving in the car, riding in the car, just doing monotonous things around the house or cleaning, I really love listening to Audible. And for me, I'm less of a fiction person. I'm more of a self-help person. So I really love learning about things to better my mental health. I love learning about lifestyle things in terms of different ways of eating and how to help the environment as a result and the impacts of the environment. I love that kind of stuff. So that's the type of stuff I tend to read or listen to on Audible. So Audible has just been so amazing. They also have like free podcasts on there that are exclusive to Audible. So I love listening to those, and it's really opened up my mind to even meditation, because there was a really interesting podcast that I listened to that had to do with really people who were very skeptical of meditation, and listening to that really changed my mind about meditation. So, and that was an exclusive. Not that you can't find that kind of content anywhere else, I'm sure you can, but Audible as a whole is a way of me passing time really efficiently and learning at the same time. So I really love that. So Audible, if you're listening, sponsor girl. The other thing that has really changed my life and is a luxury is the internet. Like, I know that we all have the internet. If you're watching this, you obviously have the internet, but I think we take the internet for granted, and not everyone does have the same access. And so I say it in that way in terms of it being an everyday luxury. Just the kinds of content like you can find on YouTube, for instance, has really been life-changing for me. I've learned to work out much more efficiently with HIIT workouts, with free workouts and that sort of thing. I've learned a lot about intermittent fasting, and that's been something that's really been life-changing for me. Learned a lot about skincare from dermatologists online. As much as I can go to a dermatologist or a dietitian or whatever, I never really got really helpful information from my actual doctors, if I'm being honest. And I'm someone who researches the hell out of things when it comes to, wanting just to learn about specific things. And I do take things with a grain of salt, of course, because everyone claims to be an expert, but may not be. So you do have to be careful about that. But what I do watch and consume on YouTube as far as skincare, as far as nutrition and weight loss, like through intermittent fasting, I have lost like 14 pounds, in a matter of 4 months. And for me, I was someone who really had trouble, like, not that I needed to lose a ton of weight, but there was a point where I was just like, I just want to lose like 5 or ideally 10 pounds or something like that. And I just never could, because losing those last few pounds is probably the hardest thing. And I'm not someone who like gained weight in one particular place on their body. Like when I gain weight, I gain it everywhere equally, like my face, my arms, my back fat, especially my belly, and etc. So when I lose it, I also lose it in all the same places as well. I guess it's good and bad, but I really got so much life-changing information on YouTube that has really helped me, and it's a lifestyle I continue to follow to this day. So the next thing that is an everyday luxury that I completely indulge in, and yes, you do not need it, but does it change my life 100%, is having an LG styler. An LG styler is basically a plug-in. You don't even need any plumbing attachments or anything like that. And you clean your clothes that way, and a lot of your delicate clothes. So whether it's a fast fashion piece or an expensive piece, I'm very careful about how I launder my clothes. And when I finally got an LG styler, it just changes your life. It's amazing. The fact that I can just throw in my dresses, you can sanitize them, you can even put in pillows or stuffies from your kids, or blankets, that are delicate, for instance, that you don't want to throw in a washing machine. Because throwing your clothes in a washing machine is so harsh and can really damage your clothes. So I am very careful about how I launder my clothes. I'm not even someone who, washes my clothing every time I wear them, unless of course they're soiled or whatever. But this is such a great refresh. It saves you a lot of money. You don't need to take it to the dry cleaners. And it's just such a really great way to wash your clothing and preserve your items, especially ones that cost you a lot of money or are difficult to wash. So of course, it's not going to get out anything soiled, so it's not useful in that sense, but it's definitely great to refresh. So I definitely love my LG styler. If you have the space, if you have the ability to get one, then I would 100% recommend it. And the last everyday luxury, and I really hate calling it a luxury because it really should not be a luxury. Unfortunately, in 2023, it continues to be a problem where a lot of people don't have access to, is a good psychotherapist. And for me, I found a really amazing therapist that helps me in my everyday life. She helped me with a lot of things, like really life-changing things. I think we all have some sort of baggage, that we come with. No one's life is perfect, certainly not mine, and especially not the way I grew up. And so for me, there were a lot of things that I needed to unpack and process and understand that affected my everyday life as an adult today. So having a really good psychotherapist or therapist, whatever you want to call it, is so life-changing. And I know there's so many bad therapists out there, because trust me, I've been through dozens of them, and it's really a frustrating process to find a good one. But when you do find a good one who really helps you in your life journey. It really is something that is extremely important. And unfortunately, not everyone has access to, healthcare, basic healthcare, let alone mental health care. So I think that is definitely an everyday luxury. I don't see her every day, but it certainly does help me in my everyday. So that is my list of everyday luxuries that have changed my life in some way and that I really couldn't live without, and I'm very grateful for. And so let me know what's on your list of everyday luxuries that has changed your life. And maybe it's something as simple as getting your hair done or a manicure or whatever, right? But let me know what that is, and I would love to hear it. And if you enjoyed this video, then maybe go binge watch some of my other videos, and I will see you next time. Bye.